Parents, not politicians, must run South Africa's schools. This is the title of a report recently done by the Institute of Race Relations. The report looks at the extent to which the government school system is allegedly stunting the development, especially of young black children. The report argues that the bulk of our state schools are not inferior because of a shortage of money, but due to corruption, destructive trade unions, incompetent bureaucrats and politicians. Now, the finding of the report thus states that parents should be more involved when it comes to making very important decisions and appointments in the school curriculum. Joining us now in studio, we've got Matakanya, who of course is the General Secretary of the National Association of School Governing Bodies. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Leanne. Good morning, and good morning, everybody.
Let's get your reaction to what I've just said here, what the Institute of Race Relations are saying in this: parents, not politicians, must run South Africa's schools.
Thank you very much, Leanne, once again. I'm very, very excited that finally the campaign that was run by National Association of School Governing Body has come to fruition, and it's empirical now. It is not just out of anger, it's not just out of any thinking, but it is now empirical and done by the Human Science Research Council, that without the parents, without the involvement of parents, and firstly, our campaign is that is parenting and parental involvement. Then it is true that without parent, we shall never smell quality learning and teaching, which is the basis of quality education for all. Then it is true that now it is done scientifically, that it is time that parents come on board to ensure that now there is quality teaching and learning. And
do parents get involved enough? I mean, from your experience, are parents wanting to get involved? Are they willing to get involved?
It is in two phases. One phase is that in some communities there is involvement. In some communities, well, it is historical that parents in the past were discouraged from becoming involved in the education of their children, you know. And then it is true that at another level is that they are also being discouraged now to become involved in the education of our children. Like, for instance, Ian, you'll realize that now we have been fighting with the Department of Education now. There is a bill that is coming where they are proposing that they must curtail our powers, the powers of the school governing bodies. And we are saying, no, why should you curtail the powers of the school government, where else we need more powers, so that through those powers we'll be able to control schools, we'll be able to encourage parents to be on board and support their children and make sure that schools are safe. Because without the parents, I don't think at any time the schools will be safe in South Africa. But once parents are involved, like for instance, I mean, let's give an example of what is really happening in Gauteng. The MEC in Gauteng has introduced modern way of teaching. But I'm telling you, all those tools of trade, once they get into the school, the following day they're gone. You see? And people will always say, no, police. The police will not cut each and everything. So we think that the involvement of parents, then it will be the involvement of the community.
They've got the best interests of their children at heart. I mean, let's look at some of the data. A report showing that 33% of matric candidates of state-run schools pass maths with a grade of 40%, and that just 29% of schools have a library, and 18% of these schools have a science laboratory. I mean, these stats are shocking. You know, if you look at kids and if they're meant to succeed with such little resources, do you believe that if parents did get involved, that they would have more, that there would be a lot more available to them?
Of course, if parents are involved, well, for instance, historically, you will know that those stats come from the previously disadvantaged. Now, if parents are involved, then I think they'll be able to improvise. You know, they can go out there, although the law allows them to go and fundraise, then they will also improvise to ensure that they don't do practical subjects theoretically. I mean, for instance, you'll find that there is no laboratory in a particular school. Then science becomes just theory instead of being practical, because science is a practical subject. Even maths and even languages. If then they have those laboratories, then they will practically do the subjects. And it's easy for them to pass because it has been done practically.
Just finally and very quickly, I mean, I suppose you can just answer me on this question. This is what the report is saying. I'd like to know if you agree with them. They're saying that the dire circumstances at government schools are attributed to corruption, incompetent bureaucrats and politicians, as well as destructive trade unions. Do you agree?
I agree. I agree.
You agree with that?
I agree with that.
All right.
Yes, I agree with that. That immediately, I think, because we are complaining about the officials, to say officials are really not doing work. And if the officials are doing work, they will give the authority the right information that comes from the ground and up to the level of the politicians where they take decisions. And at times they take decisions which are not informed because they don't get the real situation on the ground. So I think now it's time that the officials must provide the truth to the authorities.
Let's leave it there for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much
for coming on. This is the Institute of Race Relations. It's a report. I'm sure if you go onto the website, you'll be able to read it. This was the response from Matakanya. He is the General Secretary of the National Association of School Governing Bodies, talking to us about this study. It states parents should be more involved in decision-making of school staff appointments and the curriculum and even languages, policies as well. Let's look at a couple of the tweets just to get your reaction to what's been spoken about here on the program this morning. This is from Lechasa saying, why can't the SABC, and let's say the SABC, use prevention? It's better than cure. Obviously, some of the SAPS members are involved in this heist. Lechasa Batla, thank you for writing in to us. Nazim Grootboom saying, if SAPS can arrest suspects so quickly, why can't they prevent these heists before they actually happen? All right, Nazim, thank you. And let's just get one more. Nepster saying, thumbs up for Limpopo law enforcement. 7 suspects within 24 hours. Well done. All right, let's move on to another topic now here on the program. South Africa has for decades